Hey you guys, it's Bones, and I know I'm shirtless and stupid stuff, but I wanted to make sure I got all these thoughts out, and I guess this goes out um, to the actors who are fathers. Okay, one great thing about having ADD is that all my thoughts come together, so they often they find patterns and things like that. Unfortunately, they also get jumbled together. But here's what I'm gonna say. So yesterday I went on a callback for this thing, and it was actually, it's terrible being first to at a callback because the director often is like, you're the guinea pig. They figure out what they want, then they let the other guys do it right, right? So I'm there with two other guys, and I know one guy was in all the way in from Philadelphia, and he had four kids. And on the way out, I'm talking to this other guy. We're leaving, talking about how silly it is to be first, and we got to the point that I told him, well, I have an 8-month-old at home, and apparently his wife was pregnant and was about to give birth in 5 weeks. And the guy said that he had just moved back from LA. And I was like, oh, how long were you there? And he's like, 10 years. I was like, oh my God, why? And he said that while he was in LA doing the LA thing, working on the career and building his business and building his resume and doing stuff. He's been working this whole time, but his dad was sick, and he was sick for a while. And he never really could afford to go, right, to go see him, and he passed away, right. And he said that he suddenly had this big shift of priorities because he realized he was like chasing it, and he missed out on his dad. And now his mom was sick, and he didn't like the life in LA much. He didn't like it that much, that he wanted to stay for LA. A lot of people do that because they're there for the career. And I get that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. Hey, maybe we'll do that sometime. But we talked about next job itis. How, even when you book something, it's like, okay, great, what's the next thing? And that's the life, right? That's the career. It's what's the next thing. I remember once doing this huge campaign, and my co-star in it was like, I have to leave because I have to go to this modeling shoot. I want to go to this go-see. Anyway, so he had this big shift of priorities, right? His dad passed away, and I think he's, 5 weeks away from your wife, from your first baby. I think your priorities start to shift. I know mine sure as hell did. And he had that energy of like, I gotta go. In fact, he was going back to his newest table waiting job, right? So this dude was like, I'm back in New York, waiting tables, like he had been past something, 10 years, still pursuing the thing, but, with these shift of priorities. He wanted to see his mom. He didn't want the same thing to happen with his mom, that he wasn't going to see her before she passed away. So that was in my brain. All those things were in my brain, and what a crazy shift of priorities I've had since Pike's been born. And then I went to the gym, and on the way back from the gym, I was walking through the park, and I saw a bunch of kids playing baseball. I saw this dad playing baseball with his son, and I was thinking, that's good. I haven't had a baseball mitt in my hand in a long time, like a long time, and I was thinking I'm going to have to put on a baseball mitt and show Pike how to catch a baseball with a mitt. And I was thinking about how my dad showed me how to do that, and what great memories were around that. And I really remember getting my first baseball mitt, my dad showing me how to put baby oil on it and wrap it up around the ball and put it under your pillow so that it kept the shape of the ball. And whether that's true now or not, who cares? But just that rituals, I remember doing that with my dad, and it's such a dad thing. And I remember how much I liked that and enjoyed that time, and how much I wanted to share that with my son Pike. And I walked by this pond on 106th Street, and there's like people fishing in there. You can fish in Central Park. Who knew? And I was like, oh, good. I can't wait to take my son fishing in Central Park. It's what you do when you're in New York. You fish in the park. And the great time I had with my dad doing that. I'm not excluding wives or mothers. I'm just telling you this, it's a classical dad thing. And I did that with my dad, and I seriously can't wait to show Pike to do that. And I called my dad when I was walking through the park, and I said, Dad, I just want to thank you for those times. They were fun. I remember them. And because I had such a good time with you doing that, I want to make sure I pass that on. It's just little things that you don't think about until suddenly you do. So then I was watching The Middle with my wife this, last night. And it was an episode where the son turned 21, and the father wanted to trick his son and said, "You have to come home and do some work from college." And the son walked through the door and he's like, "I'm taking you for a beer because my dad took me for a beer on my 21st birthday, and I want to take you." And it's like, oh man. First of all, I'm gonna be 63 when Pike's 21, and so I don't know about all that. But all these dad and son things are occurring, right? And then this morning, Laura got up this morning. I have Pike for breakfast this morning. I don't eat him for breakfast. I mean, I usually make him breakfast and stuff while Laura gets to sleep a little longer because she's up with him at night. But she got up this morning and we were kind of hanging out, and I said, "You usually listen to music." I wanted to put on a station that she might like, so I put on like Simon and Garfunkel. No, I put on James Taylor. James Taylor, soft music in the morning. I usually put on something else, and the first song was Cats in the Cradle. Right? And I'm like, I just started just crying. I was like, oh man, I hope I'm not working too hard. I mean, I'm not. I'm home all the time, and you guys know I build stuff and I write books and all that stuff, and I'm here, like in the living room, and my son is usually playing right there, but I know he sees me on this. He's only 8 months old, but just think about the Cats in the Cradle, where the song is about the dad working too much, and then by the time he's ready to see his son's an adult and working too much, and he misses it. I don't want to do that, man. And so many people do. So many people. Cats in the Cradle is like an awesome song because so many people do that. And the next song was Eric Clapton, Here in Heaven, which Eric Clapton, he had a baby who fell out the window. So he wrote this song, and it starts out, "Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven?" It's like, oh my God. And you find out the song's about like Eric Clapton, asking himself, should he commit suicide so he can be with his baby in heaven, and all this stuff all at the same time, And it's on my mind, and I'm like, so what does it have to do with being an actor? And I guess it's all the same thing. Even though we're actors and whatever, we can miss out on things. And I'm telling you, my priorities have shifted, man. My priorities have shifted. And if you're a son and you think your dad doesn't love you for whatever reason, you are wrong. Holy shit. I mean, you're just wrong. Maybe your dad doesn't know how to show it correctly, or he shows it by working his ass off so that you have, and you don't realize that that's how he's showing it to you. Let me tell you, your parents love you. They maybe don't show it right, in a way that you can process, or maybe they love you so much that they stay away from you because they're terrified of messing things up. I am telling you, you become a parent, you don't have the choice. You don't have the choice. If your arm gets cut off, it hurts. It hurts. Maybe you cope with it some way. When you have a baby, you love that kid. And I don't know how you cope with it. So, I wish I really wanted to have a great end to this. So many of my videos are like this whole thing. They sound like they're coming to a big close, and I just want you to ask yourself, what are your priorities right now? If you are a parent, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, and you plan on being one, just, whatever you think now is wrong. And if you're a son, I don't care how estranged you are from your parents, they love you, and the fight isn't fair. If now that I'm a parent, I know that I love my kid way more than I love my parents. I'm sorry, but I think you know this, that it's an unfair difference. And so to the dude I met at the audition, and if you're a fellow father or any parent, but if you're a father out there who's like about to have a son, or you have a son, and you're trying to do what you can, you're trying to have a career and do all that, and all of a sudden these shifts come, it's okay, and call your dad, tell him you love him before you can't, all right?